Welcome to the Voices for Voices podcast, sponsored by Redwood Living. Thank you for joining us today. I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, host and humanitarian. You can learn more about Voices for Voices on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, voicesforvoices.org. Voices for Voices is a 501c3 nonprofit charity organization that survives solely on donations. So if you're able to, please consider heading over to our website to help us continue our mission and the goal and dream to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Today's episode is dedicated to answering questions from our Voices for Voices mailbag. We get asked many questions from time to time, and we have 5 questions that we're gonna review today. It's helpful for us to be in touch with our constituents and make sure that we're providing the information and the things that we need to be able to show what our organization is, what we do, how we help, how donations help. So we're going to start off with number 1. How did Voices for Voices start? So Voices for Voices started as an event that I wanted to hold that was able to bring people from all walks of life together, whether they were able to speak, whether they were able to do sign language, whether they were able to play a musical instrument, whether they were able to sing, whether they were able to do artistic pieces. And so that's how Voices for Voices started. We started as a one event a year organization where we, again, would bring all these different aspects, people from all walks of life, centered on mental health, accessibility, and inclusion. And so once we had that first initial Voices for Voices, what we called A Brand New Day event, I knew that I wanted to do more than just an event that was one time a year. The event was fantastic, the feedback was fantastic, the attendance was fantastic, the feedback from everybody involved was fantastic. It was live stream, so whether you were there in person or not, you were able to check it out. And still to this day, you can check that out on our Voices for Voices YouTube page. But I wanted to do more, and this is how the Voices for Voices podcast was really born and bred into the organization. So I decided that, again, I wanted to do more than just the one-time, once a year event. And I had been asked to be on many different podcasts as guests throughout kind of that time frame of that first event and a couple months after that first event. And so I looked into whether it would be possible to have a podcast, what I needed, what equipment, microphones, cameras, what all I would need. And so I looked into all that, and I decided I wanted to get started. So I started the Voices for Voices podcast. And at that time, what I wanted to do was to continue that mission of Voices for Voices into from the event into more of the organization. So I wanted to have, as we do today, individuals, organizations, people that tell their story, their voice. So it could be their voice, or they could be talking for somebody that's different. So for instance, and in touch, unfortunately, with a number of people who have had loved ones who have taken their own lives. And so in those instances, when those individuals come onto the podcast or at our annual A Brand New Day event, they're sharing the voice not only of themselves, but they're sharing that voice of that loved one that is no longer with us. And so that's another way that we can really share and honor and just make sure that we're not forgetting those individuals. So that's That's part of the Voices for Voices podcast. The interest has grown so much so that we're able to have a corporate sponsor, Redwood Living. So they sponsor a brand new day event. So our event that we hold every October that I just mentioned, as well as our podcast. So that's been huge to get community members to be behind us and to support what we're doing. And so by getting that support, I knew that by having the event, by having the podcast, that maybe I should put an organization together. Maybe I should put more structure around it. And that was when I just started looking into some research on a for-profit company or a nonprofit company or organization. And through my due diligence and research, I came to the conclusion that a 501c3 nonprofit was the way to go. I wanted an organization that has longevity, an organization that has meaning, that it's going to have legacy after I'm gone, that people are going to be able to take over and still continue to help others. And so that 501c3 designation was key and why I selected that particular that area. Now, the short-term versus the long-term goals of Voices for Voices, they're very similar. So short-term goals are definitely to help individuals around mental health, around accessibility, around inclusion, through the A Brand New Day event, through our Voices for Voices podcast, through other events that we hold, webinars that we hold, and the money. So we get asked, where's the money go to if I donate to your organization? So we donate the money that we receive as donations, which again, with 501c3 corporation, well, all those donations are tax deductible. So we take that money and we donate it to causes. And so causes like individuals that need mental health care that either don't have insurance or they're having a hard time navigating that process of how to pay for mental health care, behavioral health care. So money goes to pay those bills. There are also individuals that with the opioid epidemic and others, that they're just falling on some hard times, and that could mean an individual's electricity could be getting ready to be shut off. And so the money, the donations, the organizations will also go to individuals that need heat, need air, need electricity. They might need a ride to a doctor's appointment or to drop their child off at daycare, or some of those ways. And so that's where money goes to. So that's short term, a way to look at it, as well as supporting the Voices for Voices podcast. This can't and isn't possible not only without Redwood Living, but without you, the individual that has that giving heart, that giving spirit, and that's something that I've had for quite a long time, and it's taken a while for me to come forward and really come out with that. And so what I want to share at this point is something that I don't believe has been shared publicly, but to show with different organizations, right? So you can be like, well, everybody wants my money, everybody wants me to donate. And so what I want to do, and what I'm going to share now, is I believe so much in the organization and what I'm doing with what we're doing collectively as a board in a community, that in the first 2 years of the organization, I put $50,000 of my own money towards this organization to get off the ground, to get moving, to advertise, to be able to meet people and share the mission, the vision, to be able to go to Warsaw, Poland, and help over 200 Ukrainian refugees that are fleeing their war-torn country. So that's something that I did, paid out of my pocket. And so as I stand here with this episode and all future episodes and prior episodes, I just want you, the viewer, the listener, anybody that comes in contact with the Voices for Voices podcast and anything our organization-wise, that I believe so much in it that I put my own money behind it. So I'm not just asking for donations for something that, like, okay, well, I have this idea and I want to do these things. Well, I have this idea and want to do these things, but I've also paid for a lot of these things. So just want to cover that because that's not public knowledge, and now it is. And so I feel that it's that important to want to share. Long term, what we want to do with Voices for Voices is to continue that short-term vision, but long-term, we would like to build facilities that have behavioral health care in the building. And so everything an individual need, from if they need medication, if they need to see a psychiatrist, if they need therapy, if they need art therapy, all the different spans that an individual may need, all in one spot. But not only that, that's good, but how are people going to pay for it? So that's where the second part of the long-term vision and plan comes in, where all the care that's going to happen in this building, and we hope many buildings down the road throughout the United States, but starting here in Northeast Ohio, an individual can go in and not have to worry about what the cost is going to pay, not worry about whether they have insurance or not, or whether they have a referral or not. That they're going to be able to be taken care of, like individuals. Like St. Jude's takes care of the children and families that are going through tough times around cancer, and so that's what we're doing, what we're aiming for. So short term and medium term, those are the things we're doing, and then long term, that's where we want to get to. And so again, I've put my money where my mouth is, and so I believe so much in it that I'm going through recovery myself, having to accept who I am, and that I have diagnoses and I have to take medication, and that's okay. And so I am living and breathing it every day, as well as putting my capital support behind the organization. So that three ways within that pie that if we look at, we educate. So we talk about education, ways, methods that can be helpful, tips, how important sleep is, how important healthy relationships are to steer away from toxic relationships, etc. Then secondly comes in is where we refer and get those individuals help in that care that they need. And so that's kind of that second way that is not only in the short term, because we're helping people individually today or on a one-off basis, but in the future we're going to be able to help people more in the mass by having a facility to be able to take care of as many people as we can in that particular setting. And then lastly, getting individuals back integrated. I've been in between jobs at different times of my life, and it's hard. Doesn't matter how much experience you have or don't have, just getting reacclimated to the workforce. Maybe you want to try something different. Maybe you want to try a different industry. Maybe you want to start a new business and not sure what to do. So part of my background of being a college professor is also helping my students and individuals that are in between jobs look for those jobs, make the connections, the networking, and work through the resume process and adding their job profile to particular organization sites that they would like to potentially work at those organizations. So we're not only educating, we're getting people help, and we want to reintegrate them back to where it's healthy for them, something that has emotional value, that might not be just a paycheck and a dollar figure assign with a job, that maybe there needs to be something more emotional attachment to it. That's where I'm at. So I'm speaking for myself, not everybody else. But that's where I'm at. Of I need that emotional attachment of being able to know that what I'm doing is what I believe in, not just what an organization believes in, but what I, as an individual, believe in. And so that's very, very important. So how to donate? So we've gone through how Voices for Voices started. We've gone through the organization, making that choice of being a 501c3 nonprofit. We've gone through where does the money go. Now how to donate. So if you're able to, you can head over to the voicesforvoices.org website. There's a button right in the middle of the top portion of the web page. It says donate. You click on that. That takes you through the process. Or if you're at a different point, a different part of our website, as you're perusing and checking what we do out, there is at the top right, there's a button that says shop, and then under shop, there is a button that takes you to be able to donate. And there's many different ways to be able to do that. And that shop section is also where when we have events, when we have tickets available, that's where tickets can be found, either there or we have them on Eventbrite. But everything that you would like to know and need to know about Voices for Voices, if you want to know what our EIN number is, that's at the bottom of every page of our web page. So that gets you the information that legitimacy as a 501c3 organization. Number 4, so how can I volunteer or participate with Voices for Voices? So maybe you're thinking the organization sounds great, sounds like they're doing a lot of great work. How can I get involved? Can I volunteer? Can I put my services to use? Maybe my background that I have, I can help out. And so you can do that. You can do that today. You can do that anytime into the future. And you can either go through our webpage where there's a contact us link that you can take that over to your email, or you could go right to open up your email and go to for the two would be president at voices for FOR voices.org, and just drop us a line and let us know how you'd like to help us out and collaborate. Again, we're all going through, we're doing a good thing. There's a lot of great organizations out there, and we can't do it without help and support from the community. It's just something I know firsthand. And then lastly, so number 5 is how can I help but without money, without donating money? And so the way you can do that is checking out our social media. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook, the posts that we put out there. You can like our posts. You can reshare, repost those. Also on LinkedIn, you can find me at Justin Allen Hayes. And the same thing, like and share. That'll be the easiest way to do it. And so again, that's no money involved, but that's a way of supporting that gets our message, that gets what we're doing in front of as many people as we can. And that's the name of the game, is we want to have that awareness for Voices for Voices. We're not a come fly-by-night organization. We are fairly new, so you may not have heard about us about us. But now you do, and now you'll be able to check us out again everywhere, social media, Instagram, Facebook, our YouTube page. You're able to check out not only the first annual Brand New Day event that I mentioned with being that foundation of where the organization Voices for Voices started, but you'll also be able to check out the second annual edition that we did as well, that A Brand New Day. event that we held this past October. So both of those, the first annual and the second annual, from start to finish, you'll be able to see the type of work we're doing, the type of people we're helping, the voices. Voices for Voices. We're giving everybody, not only Northeast Ohio, we've had people as far away from New South Wales, Australia, speak at our first annual event via live stream. With the Voices for Voices podcast, we're going to have individuals, again, from all over the world. The one I can think of right now that's coming up will be in the UK. So Voices for Voices, while we are a Northeast Ohio organization, it's where we're started, we're founded, but we are for all people, and we want to be voices for all voices, whether you're in Hudson, Ohio, whether you're in London, UK, whether you're in Sydney, Australia. We want to be the voice for the voices. We want everybody to have that opportunity, not just the celebrities, not just the entertainers and the stars. We want everyday individuals to join us and to help and inspire people at home. And so we want to thank you for all the support you've given us up until now and all the future support that you're giving. So please check us out at voicesforvoices.org. Again, you can reach out, president@voicesforvoices.org, for volunteering. You can like our content on social media. And again, thank you for having an interest in Voices for Voices. So thank you for joining us for this episode of the Voices for Voices podcast. Until next time, I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, host and humanitarian. Until next time, have a great day and be a voice for yourself or somebody in need.